Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm glad to see so many people interested in how to be conversational with their clients and to be able to talk to people without it being, you know, clinical, and to be able to communicate the things that we need to get out there to our clients. Um, this is going to be casual, conversational. There's going to be questions that you're going to pose to us at the end, and that's fine. I just want to express my thanks to everyone at OPAE and at the agencies who have supported these kind of things throughout this whole pandemic. Well, get started. First of all, conversation client education. One of the things that you're going to have in your conversation before we get started, because I did say that about the clients, you're going to have these masks, and you're going to have to be at the homes, and I want you to set a tone, but I don't want you to go down a rabbit hole. So make sure that with these masks that you wear yours. You may ask the client to wear theirs because they are going to be close to you. Provide some so that you have them there, but make sure, then we'll talk about this later on through this, make sure that that's already part of the conversation when you've already contacted to set up for your visit. So let's get started. Let's see, page 1. These are the key points we're going to hit. I want you to relax, set the tone, talk about reading the room, be informative, know your product, but KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Keep it conversational and relatable to them. Use open-ended questions. Let them know you will follow up to see how they're faring, and ask any questions at the end, and and you're gonna have a great visit if you think about those things correctly. All right, relax. They're just people, so you don't need to be nervous. This is this is my first webinar I'm hosting, and I might be a little nervous, but I'm just relaxing. I'm just enjoying it because I'm able to talk to people in a fashion that allows me to get out what I want to say without worrying about them being better than I am, or less than I am, or whatever. They're just people, just like you are. But don't relax this much, okay? This is not your home, so don't relax this much. Treating people as you would be treated is one of the best ways to enter into the situation. We're into this together, so we need to not be stiff or really logical when we're talking to a client, and you can be professional and still be personable. Set the tone, okay? If you are scheduling your own visits, then that is an awesome opportunity to let them get to hear the enthusiasm in your voice and to come do some great things. Now, if you're not, just impress upon the scheduling person that being pleasant is a key factor. First impressions are lasting impressions. So we want to make sure the client has already got an idea about what's going on and that they can feel comfortable with you, okay? Learn to smile on the phone. That's a big one. Learn to use your voice to show that person that you're excited about what's going on. But we are guests and have to earn their trust, and that starts from the very first moments. Have a concrete list of things you will need to do that day and convey some of them to that client so they know what's going to happen. Our programs can seem invasive. You're going from room to room to room, underneath the house, around the house, and then, in rooms where, they normally don't let visitors in. So you need to make sure that, what they know what's going to happen. You want to make sure they know how long it's going to take. They may have plans that day. No one likes surprises, and we want to make sure that they're comfortable. That starts with being prepared. Have all your paperwork ready. Have extra pens if you need be. Notepads. Make sure you have all the inventory to do your job so you don't have to come back and do another visit. Allow enough time to do that job so it's not going to run over or you're going to be late for your next one. If you communicating with the next one, make sure you call them to let you know you're falling behind. Those are the things that you need to be prepared for. In some cases, you may be referred to a particular for a particular reason, and you need to be ready to address that. That's going to be the top thing on their mind. So don't bulldoze over them. You know, let them talk. Let them. You know, it's a exchange of information. So I know you've got a task to do. You know, but let them talk too. Don't talk over them. Let them tell you what's going on, because, like I said, you may be referred for a specific reason. And even though you've got another list of things you've got to get done there, that's going to be the focus of their mind, especially if it's something like heating or their refrigerator's out. Let's see here, and be adaptable. That's important. You just have to, you know, I watched a movie last night, and it was about boxing, and it talked about being adaptable, being able to move from one point to the other, because things are going to happen that you're not ready for. Read the room. You guys like the picture of my grandson? That's him. Make a quick assessment of how energetic the client is to what you're trying to accomplish, and adjust accordingly. They may just need some coffee to wake up that morning. Their energy levels might be low because you just got there. My energy levels are usually low in the morning, but that's what my coffee's for, or whatever energy drink I'm using, or whatever way I pep myself up. But those clients might need to get started. Not everybody gets up as early as we do. If the kids are running around like crazy, you might need to expect interruptions as you talk to the client. And just adjust and move forward with confidence. You know, let the parent take care of their children, or let the parent take care of a dog, or whatever that's going to interrupt your day. But you need to read the room and get an idea of something. John and I were talking just a little while ago about where someone might say something that was not kind of out of place for the situation. You need to make sure that you read the room, get an idea about what's going on, and remember that you're a guest and that you're just trying to help. Okay. KISS, which means keep it simple, stupid. You want to inform them about what's going on, but you don't want to be too complicated. Case in point, a light bulb, a new LED light bulb, you don't want to talk about diodes and circuitry. You want to talk about how that's going to save them energy in a way that may make it palatable to them. Remember about reading the room? You know, tell that person about how they don't have to go out and buy a bunch of the old light bulbs that break down on them all year. Talk about how double spinning the clothes can save them time in drying their clothes, so they can get it done and get out and get the things they need to do in their lives. Especially, like I said, read the room. If you see a pile of laundry and they say, I can never get enough time to get to it. Teaching them how to double spin clothes might teach them how to cut their drying time in half, which means that they can get that task out of the way. You can run into some technical people, which that's not your average person. They don't know about, it's not that they don't know things. Most people aren't into the technical stuff that you've already studied. So you don't have to get very technical, but be ready for them. Remember I said about being adaptable, because you will get that person that may know a lot of what you're presenting to them. So they're going to ask questions. So be ready for those, but always be positive. Be excited about what you're doing every job, not just, oh, I'm going to this one, it's going to be easy, but to every single one of them. Just don't give too much information that they're not going to listen to everything on. Okay, see some points here? Watch. See the LED light bulbs, compact fluorescent bulbs, heating controls, because your invitation told you I was going to show you 5 different things that would help you to focus on for clients. And these are some things that you can look at. Replace old appliances. So tell them about their refrigerator, how they can clean underneath it. Remember what I said about read the room? If they've got pets, that's a major thing to clean underneath their refrigerator so they can breathe correctly. fill gaps around doors and windows. We don't do a lot of motion sensor lighting, but we do things like talking about installing insulation, and back to the heating control things, you know, manipulating how their heat is and about the furnaces. And those are some subjects that you can touch on, but know what you're talking about and do so confidently. Like I said, keep a conversation when relating to them. I'm just chit-chatting with you. That's what I want you to do with them. Just chit-chat with them. Talk about some more key points here about less energy in an incandescent. What temperatures to aim for when they're on their thermostat. Shut the refrigerator door, something my mother used to tell me all the time, to which I wake up late at night with nightmares about. Fix a drip, powering things down. We talked about laundry. And as you're walking through the home, invite them to come along. So it's, you know, you can chat with them. Even when you're putting in a light bulb, I guarantee you sometime during your career, being out there with the client, someone's going to ask you while you're taking down a light fixture, can they clean it? Gladly give it to them, let them do it, because you're being personable, but you brought them along with it anyway. So now you're talking about different things, and that also gives them a chance to go wash something that they probably won't wash again for another 10 years. Do these things according to that client, just like it says here. If they don't have a washer and dryer, you're not going to talk about how to save energy through a washer and dryer. If they don't watch a lot of television, you don't have to talk about ways to save with the television. You just need to make sure that you keep them involved in what you're doing. Use open-ended questions. You don't get anywhere fast with questions that are just yes or no. So you need to make sure that when you're talking to them, you ask things that are going to get you information, not just dead end where you've got to ask another question, another question, another question, another question, because you're the person that is taking care of getting this information. So make it as efficient as possible for you to get that. Here's some examples. What are the main reasons do you think people use LED bulbs today? What do you think the lifespan of actually saving is compared to old incandescent bulbs? How many loads of laundry do you do in a day or week? Do you use hot, cold, or warm water to wash? Not do you use hot water? Do you use cold water? Make sure you're giving them some choices so that they have to answer. And then you could say right after that question, why? So that then you can tell them in the information that they should use cold and why. Where's your filter located on your furnace? So if you say, do you check your furnace filter? They're going to say yes or no. Most of the time they're going to say yes. But if you ask them where it is, now they've got to tell you where it's located. And if they don't know where it's located, now you're helping them to find out. And so you can get their information to save energy. What temperature is your heat cooling set to during the winter or the summer? It's funny when you see people who set their summer temperature at 60, 65, trying to freeze the house. But during the winter time, they want it up at 80 degrees. Those are things you need to discuss with them so you can tell them why they need to make sure they're at certain degrees. Your furnace is out. I have a typo there. Your furnace is out. What are you using to heat with? So that you can find out about space heaters and things that they're doing. Like I said, ask questions that are open-ended so that you can continue the conversation. This pen and this piece of paper I have right here are very important. You should be taking notes on any questions they may pose to you so that you can do the follow-ups. I want you to answer those you can and get back to them on them that you cannot. Never answer a question with some sort of filler that is unsatisfying, borderline a lie, or something just to avoid the question. The phrase, I will get back with you when I find out about that, is better than not giving truthful answers. Let's see here. Make sure you let them know they will have you or someone else who will be doing their utmost to take any action you have determined to be fit to your situation. Don't make any promises you can't follow through on. Refer them to others who may be able to help them. Use your resources. Use your resources. Make sure they know follow-ups will happen in a timely manner, and keep the tone keep the tone you set from the beginning to now. Okay. I want to thank you all for your time. I appreciate you. And I do, want to get some questions from you, but first I'm going to ask you a few. Write these down if you can. Go get the answers yourselves. How much energy does a dryer use? How much energy does your washer use? What's the lifespan of a light bulb? The LED kind. How many LED can run on the power of a standard bulb? What is the best setting to have your furnace on during the winter? And the reason why I ask these questions is because I could have just given you answers to all of this right in the beginning or right through this about things that are going to help you out. But why not leave this up here, have you write down a few, jot them down, or I can send you a copy of this and you go find out so that you can make sure you tell your clients in a conversational manner. I want you to get out there and enjoy what you're doing. I want you to smile. Even when you're wearing this mask, smile, because it shows up right here. And it lets them feel that they're part of the solutions out there that we need to take care of. Okay, John, I'm done.
All right.
I think want to ask any questions.
Yeah, I think just to kind of underscore what you're saying, and everybody on this call knows this, so it's probably not even worth saying, but I mean, the people we're serving around every corner, they're met with, issues and barriers and unfriendly people and waiting in line. And, to be the ones that kind of are a pleasantry to their lives, particularly since you're going into their homes. I think if you're keeping that in mind, just the lives that these people are leading, and if you could be a bright light for at least that moment, it goes a really, really long way.
A lot of times we forget that the people out there that are in need are very innovative in figuring out how to make their resources stretch out. And they're not meant to be talked down to. They're not meant to be pitied. They're meant to be helped, and they're meant to be respected for everything they're doing to maintain their lives.
So do we have any questions? I wonder if I should just unmute everybody.
Any questions? Anything?
Doesn't look like it. If you have a question, just throw it in the chat, maybe.
Hey, Ray J, I got one.
Yes, sir.
So my tends to be my biggest problem is with the male client.
Mm-hmm.
They like standing over your shoulder and being problematic. What I call problematic is because they know better than I do.
Right.
Do you have any suggestions? I don't want to tell them to leave me alone,
Mm-hmm.
but politely, can you find something else to do? That's what I almost start doing with them.
Well, you can bring them along, and sometimes, because we get into a habit of when I go into this house, this is what I plan on doing, right? This is what I'm planning on doing. This is what I'm going to get done. And sometimes with that type of client, the one that's over your shoulder a whole lot of times, you need to just go ahead and include them in it. And one of the ways you can do that is by pulling out your notepad or whatever you use to take notes and say, before we get started, because you seem very concerned about some things, go ahead and tell me what concerns you may have. And if they're detailed, if you really don't want them, next to you the entire time that you're trying to get some things done, then have an extra notepad that you can let him write things down on. so that you can say, give me a list of things that you have concerns, and I will let you know. And remember the follow-up part, I will let you know what I can and cannot address at this time or down the road. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, it's almost like giving a kid crayons and paper and telling them to go color you a picture. No, that's a good idea too, because that's what I need. Because I mean, and I know you spoke a lot about EPP, which most of our LED lifespans are like 25,000 hours. But I like how you even tell them something like that for EPP. But some of them, it's usually like HWAP. Like HWAP, I need them to like to take a break. Like, I mean, I get it. You used to be a heating tech. That's fantastic. Right. You retired 10, 15, 20 years ago. I'm sorry that happened.
Right.
So what I tried to do is I tried to bring him along.
Right.
That was stupid.
Well, here, watch. You talked about the heat tech and everything else like that. So the person was a heat tech. They're an expert on something that you're talking about, right? And we kind of hit on that about someone who might have some technical.
Right, exactly. Like you talked about earlier. Yep.
Right. So with that person, you know, because sometimes that little thing with the notepad won't work. With that person, and they insist on coming along, you can say, well, we're going to take a look at this. I do have someone, because when you're doing HWAP and everything else, you are doing some testing and things, but you've also got a heat tech or a contractor that's going to come do something more detailed, right?
Right, exactly. Get him prepared for that one too.
Right. So that's where you're telling them about the follow-up part, saying I've noted your concerns, and I actually going to have someone who is going to do even more detailed inspection on your furnace, heat pump, or what have you. Coming along, we need to make sure that they can do their part and make their assessment. But I do appreciate your input, because that allows me to make some notes to pass on to them. That lets that person know that what they're saying and what their concerns are is important.
Right. Yep, gotcha.
And you just, like I said about that movie last night, it was called $1 Million Baby. One of the things that they said is, like, sometimes when you're getting some punches, don't go forward. Sometimes you got to back off a little bit. So sometimes what we want to do, we need to make sure that we back off a little bit, because the whole purpose of us being there is not to spend our budget. Our purpose there is to help that client as best we can within the confines of what our budget and our rules and regulations say. But we are there to help people. So like I said, you're going to read the room. You're going to get different people with different personalities. Just be a little bit adaptable and a little bit more flexible. And yes, you can go back in the truck and drive down the road, and when you're safely away, scream.
Right. Well, I even give, like, if they've done something like that in the past, or they know something, I kind of give the contractor even a heads up. To, hey, look, know what you're getting yourself into. But it's just, I don't know what it is. Just sometimes, and we wear a lot of hats when we go out to these houses. I mean, crap, we're psychiatrists sometimes.
Right.
And it's just like, you almost think to yourself, oh, great, here we go again. But I'm glad that helped, because then I carry notebook paper with me, so I can just give them a piece of notebook paper and a pen and tell them to have at it. And then, because I'll leave it at this. For even one instance, we had one that used to be a contractor, even for Cleveland Housing Network. And he did the PVC pipe on the back side of the house, our contractor did. And he wanted one of those concentric kits. If I got that right, my mind's flying a mile a minute, but he wanted the kit that actually had the flat piece. And he didn't convey that to anybody. He just thought that's what we did at every single house. Well, on the back side of the house, we don't have to do that. It could look like a periscope. Who cares? It's on the back side of the house. It's not in anybody's driveway. So it just, there's just instances like that to try and say, hey, I want to start saying, even if you are a professional or you've been a professional in this business, hey, I tell you what, I don't want you to help our guy, but if you got any, things that you want to talk to him about, I bet you he'd even shoot the, whatever with you, because he'd probably love that. Just, talk about past client, past people you've had, sometimes they like that. And then they can have conversation, because they might not have seen a human being in about especially because of COVID, in 2 years
Right.
at their house. Because a lot of these people don't even have people that come to their house. So they're like ecstatic that somebody actually showed up and was breathing.
And you'll get those clients who haven't talked to anybody. So sometimes they might want to, sorry, excuse me, something popped up on my computer. Sometimes you'll get those folks who haven't seen anybody and they want to talk and they want to talk and they want to talk, and you're on a schedule, but
Right.
you have to accommodate, you have to adapt. And like you said, you know, that guy might know a whole lot of stuff. Now, it also doesn't hurt to say, because my contractor has set things that they're going to do, I don't mind you speaking with them, but if you have any real concerns, please bring them to me.
True. Very true.
Hand them your, make sure they've got your card. Make sure they can communicate with you as best they can for any concerns, because you're the go-to person. That's why we set the tone in the beginning, because we're creating a trust, a rapport, and that's important.
Cool. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Anyone written down the questions at the end of this about their and finding out how much energy a dryer uses?
Yeah, let's see who wins the day.
I'm sorry?
Let's see who wins the day.
Just who wins the day. My email address and my work cell phone number is on here. So if you have any questions you want to pose to me on the side, or give me a call, or at any time, just let me know.
Yeah, this session has been recorded and it will be put up onto the OPAE website and shared as well. And I'll include all of Ramond's contact information on that page in the site as well. Thank you, everybody, for your time today. If anybody is interested in hosting an OPAE shares, just go to the website. There's a form there, and you'll also see a request for presentations in our newsletter, which will be coming out probably tomorrow, our March newsletter. And since I've got you guys on the phone, you know, make sure you check your spam when you know, on a pretty regular basis, because I do know that some of our email newsletters go into people's spam. It's getting better. I've worked with the tech to make sure that doesn't happen, but I would recommend just going in, seeing if it's coming up as spam, and granting permission to OPAE emails. So thanks again, everybody. Thank you, Ramond, for your time and for your effort on putting this all together.
Very welcome. You guys take care of yourselves. Be safe out there in the field, and God bless you. Take care.
Take care.